Welcome to the Raider Nation podcast, where we're talking all things Nettleton. And now, here's your host, Lainey Oliver.
Thank you for joining us today. Today, we have a very special guest. His name is Mr. Miller, if you've never heard of him before. He's supposedly the second funniest teacher in school.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah, he came in second to Mr. Watson for obvious reasons.
Okay, you see, that's a point of contention. That stings me when you say that. I don't know why you would want to lead with that for having me as your guest. Why would you want to lead with something that you know is going to make me angry?
Yeah. Anyways, we've got a few questions for you today.
Okay, good, because It's not you hadn't got off to a good start. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I apologize.
You want to just start over? I tell you what, just cut all that and just start over from the beginning. Give me a good introduction, and we'll just start from. Do not include what we just did on your podcast. You hear me, Lainey? Do not include it. Okay, start again.
Thank you, everybody, for coming back today. Today we have a very special guest, the funniest teacher in school, in my opinion.
Better.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, thank you. Glad to be here. So glad to be on the Raider Nation podcast. I'm excited about what y'all are doing here.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, too. This is our second podcast, obviously. First, we had Mr. Watson.
I listened to that one.
Did you? Was it good?
Listened. I love Mr. Watson. Great job on the interview. It was really good, but I must say I did not laugh one time.
Oh, yeah, I struggled laughing too.
And I had to turn the volume up from time to time to drown out the crickets.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But outside of that, you did a great job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yep. So we've got some questions for you today, just to get to know our teachers better at Nettleton High School.
Love it.
So first question, we asked this in the first interview as well. What inspired you to become a teacher?
It's a good question. I actually did not. I've done other things besides teaching. Mm-hmm. Served for years as a youth minister at a local church, and then I had a sports talk radio show for a brief while. But teaching is something that's always kind of been on my radar. Back whenever I was still getting my education, I would substitute teach at Nettleton, and I always thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was so much fun. I love being around teenagers. I love being around high school students, and substitute teaching was so much fun for me. And it's something that back when I was in youth ministry, I would substitute one day a week at the school. And it was just something that I always thought was just a whole lot of fun and a great way to impact young lives, is to be on the school campus with them and teaching. So I guess if you're looking for inspiration, that would be it. Just my love for being around young people and trying to help them out. Yeah.
So for the second question, there's obviously other things you could have chosen to do, teaching, but what chose you to do, like, in TV instead of doing something else?
Well, I love being a teacher, and you're right, with if you know how to edit and if you know how to shoot video, you can do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I tell my students regularly. You can make money with these skills that you're learning in NTV. You really can. You can make a nice living. But I decided to be a teacher instead of something like that, mainly because my family is extremely important to me. I like to consider myself a family man, and teaching, if you want to be a family man, teaching is a very good occupation, because I'm home when my kids are home. I'm, summertime months, we're all off. My wife is a teacher as well. It just it fits in very nicely with my family, and being a family man, that's important to me.
All right. What would you do if you weren't teaching?
If I were not teaching, I'd probably be either a professional athlete or a male model.
Yeah. I think both of those would do you good. I think you would, I think if you started right now, you could pursue a great career in that.
Oh, no doubt. Obviously Hollywood, they call all the time. I could be, on the A-list in Hollywood as a movie star. but I probably would be doing the male model thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I may be in the NFL. I don't know. One of those things, though. Either
Yeah.
professional athlete or male model if I weren't teaching.
Yeah. I think I could be a professional rock star.
I can see that.
Yep.
I can
The
see that.
guitarist of a band.
Yes.
I think that'd suit me great.
Yes. Greta Van Oliver.
Greta Van Oliver. How do you feel? Okay, this is a sensitive topic.
Mm-hmm. This is no holds barred. You told me whenever I came on here that, anything, any question.
Yep.
So go ahead, hit me with it.
How do you feel about losing to Mr. Watson for
Okay.
being the funniest teacher in school?
Okay, I thought I told you that you weren't going to talk about this. I thought I told you that. Did I not say that? Did those words not come out of my mouth?
Mr. Miller.
Okay. All right. I'm not happy about it. All right? I'm not happy. I don't know how else I can say it.
Understandable.
All right. It's one of the regrets in my life, and I've got many. But one of the regrets in my life, one of the things that keep me up at night, I don't sleep at night, Lainey. I don't sleep at night. You wonder why I'm always cranky? It's because I'm not sleeping. And one of the things that keeps me up at night is the fact that I lost to Mr. Watson in the category of funniest teacher. It eats at me from the inside on a consistent basis. I'm bitter. I'm bitter about it. I really am.
Would it make you feel better if you won this year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I would finally be able to get some sleep. I'm no good at school anymore. I'm cranky with the kids.
Yeah.
I'm grumpy with my family. I'm all the time hollering at my wife. If I could beat Mr. Watson in the funniest teacher in the annual this year, I think it would turn me around 365 degrees. I think
that'd be your best school year ever.
Yeah. So everybody vote for Mr. Miller for funniest teacher. Is that okay? I mean,
Yes.
You probably
Put it out there.
You probably shouldn't politic for who's who elections. You probably shouldn't.
No.
But I'm going to.
Yeah.
Vote for Mr. Miller for funniest teacher.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yes.
Okay. Good to know.
Yes.
What is your favorite school activity or sport you enjoy or enjoyed watching?
I'd have to say football. My favorite high school sport would be to cover. And, of course, I don't actually watch the games. I'm always busy announcing, live streaming them. But I would have to say football. I think football is the best spectator sport. Now, my favorite sport is baseball. It was my favorite sport to play. It's my favorite sport to watch, honestly. But I think that football is the best spectator sport. I think it's the perfect spectator sport. Basketball is so fast and always action, go. Baseball is a little bit on the other extreme. It's kind of slow, and especially somebody that's really not into the strategy of the game, it would seem boring to them. But football is that perfect medium. You got action in the play, and then you have a break when they set up for the next play. And then you got action, and you got the play. So, and the atmosphere on Friday nights, there's nothing better than, the Friday night lights and the band playing and the cheerleaders cheering, the dance team dancing. And football would be my favorite, I would say.
Understandable. It's probably one of my favorites, too, especially with the student section.
Yes.
Okay. So, anytime you talk about yourself or you talk about your son, you say the TMC and Cold Dirty. Where did that come from?
Well, the TMC is, I like to refer to myself in the third person. Great men in history have done that. They've referred to themselves in the third person. Jesus referred to himself in the third person. He would call himself the Son of Man, the Son of God. The Rock, one of my favorite wrestlers, he got good precedent referring myself into the third person, As far as the nickname the TMC, it goes back to junior high. I was originally called the Craigster.
Yeah.
There was a wrestler at the time who was just kind of emerging on the national scene. His name was Hulk Hogan, and I was a big fan of his. I've always been a big fan of professional wrestling, and his nickname was the Hulkster, the Mighty Hulkster. And so because I was such a fan, some friends started in junior high school started calling me the Craigster, and then the Mighty Craigster, and that was kind of an ironic nickname. I was not mighty. I was kind of small and weak, I guess you could
Fregley.
say.
You looked like Fregley.
Well, I can't deny the resemblance. Cannot deny that resemblance. But it was, kind of like calling a bald man curly, or an obese man slim.
Yeah.
It's one of those ironic nicknames. They call me the Mighty Craigster. So that's what TMC stands for, the Mighty Craigster. Over time, I don't know, I guess probably within the last 15 years, I've started calling myself, instead of the Mighty Craigster, TMC.
Yeah.
Just the initials. That's right. And the TMC, which I realize is redundant.
Yeah.
Every so often somebody will say, that's redundant. It's the TMC. Well, of course it's redundant. I know that. But I enjoy annoying the grammar Nazis out there, and it's just a hobby of mine. So I call myself the TMC just to watch the English teachers like, oh, that's redundant. He shouldn't do that. I've always enjoyed getting on English teachers' nerves.
Yeah.
So that's where that name comes from. As for Cold Dirty, when Kobe was born, I was serving as a youth minister, and some boys in the youth group, they would call each other Coop Dirty, Cooper Holmes, and Philip Walker, Phil Dirty. That's just, they were like, the dirty boys, Phil Dirty, Coop Dirty. Just kind of a thing they called each other.
Yeah.
So when Kobe was born, that was going on. And so when he's a little baby, I just started along those lines calling him Kobe Dirty.
Yeah.
Phil Dirty, Coop Dirty, Kobe Dirty. And it stuck. And so, now I'll call him Kobe Dirty, the dirty one. Sometimes just dirty. Sometimes I call him Dirt.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's where it comes from. Dirt bag. That's right, Dirt Bag.
That was Emily speaking.
Yes, she's heard me call him Dirt Bag, which is a term of endearment for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, if anyone has ever taken NTV classes, everyone understands that first period has a curse.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has their theories that it just happened because of one video. And I know you've talked about this, but why exactly do you think first period has a curse?
Well, that's a good question.
Because last year there were some pretty good videos that came out from first period.
And there were some fantastic students.
I was in first period.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
But those were some pretty phenomenal videos.
And a great class.
Yeah.
And I have a great first period class this year. But there seems to be a curse on first period.
Yeah.
It has been 7 years. Next month, it will have been 7 years since a first period class has won a video competition. And so the only thing I can figure is there's a curse on them.
Yeah.
That the curse of first period. I think a couple of factors weigh in on this, Lainey. Number one, it's so early in the morning.
Yeah.
Especially over the last couple of years, whenever they've changed our schedule and made it to where we start at 7:30. Well, that's early for a class like mine, where it's a class that's about creativity and coming up with ideas. A lot of people, their mind is not functioning that early, or at least the creative side of their mind is not. So I think that has something to do with it, the earliness of it. And that is probably my answer for that. I think that it's just a situation where it being so early that they're kind of handicapped. I don't think there's some kind of a cosmic curse on the class period. I just think it's just early in the day. And one of these days, though, there will be a class that's going to come along and reverse that curse, and it will be big news when that happens.
I will say one thing, though. I think that even after the time schedule, people were like, oh, there's a curse on it. Like, after a few years, people just be like, oh, it's first period. It's not going to be that good. So, like, their expectations are already so low that they're just not, like, the videos, they're like, it's already bad enough.
I think you're right. And sometimes I've had to deal with that with NTV judges.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's first period. They're just cursed. And I'm like, well, you got to judge the videos on the merit. You can't just say it's first period. It's not going to be any good. Watch it again and make your decision. But you're right. It's become a real thing now.
Okay. How do you choose the NTV judges?
That is a great question, um, and for those who might not know what an NTV judge is, my class is project-based. We're all the time making videos. I think that's the best way to learn how to produce videos is to actually do it. And so I make it a competition, which makes it more fun, and it brings out the best in everybody if you're competing against the other classes. And so I get some judges to determine the winners, determine who gets the Raider Pride Belt. They are primarily former students.
Yeah.
And usually they select themselves. Usually they'll come up to me like, Mr. Miller, next year, I'm going to be graduated. I want to be a judge. And I'll write their name down. And when it comes time, I will shoot them a text and say, hey, the NTV Scary Shorts are coming out. Would you like to be a judge? And 99% of the time they write back, absolutely. So it's usually former students who are really involved in NTV and big fans of the program who they want to continue to contribute by being a judge. Usually that's how it happens. I also will choose some faculty members who like to watch our videos. I'll ask them if they will judge, but usually it's former students who are really in the best position to be a good judge, and I will use them, but I will not reveal their identity.
Yeah,
So,
you don't want to have to see on the news someone being beaten up behind a dumpster one day.
That's right, which would happen because people get very angry about losing video competitions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, even though we're only 2 videos in for the year with your other classes, who do you think will win overall this year?
Good question. And I hope everybody listening has been watching our videos.
Yeah.
I would say it is too early to tell. Like last year, the class that won overall was second period.
That was very shocking.
Too shiesty.
Yeah.
In the first semester, they didn't win one video. But the second semester, they swept. I think they found their identity, and they really put out some good stuff. So it is too early to say. But if I was a betting man, and I think if you check Las Vegas, they would bear this out for me. I would say it would be one of the intermediate/advanced classes, either third or sixth period. They just have such an advantage of experience over the fundamentals, over the first-year students, the first and second period. Sixth period is loaded with talent. Third period is as well. I would say it'd be one of those two if I was betting, but it is too early to tell.
Okay, good to know. So, if you've been in NTV, you know how chaotic the classes can get. So, my biggest question, and Emily wrote this one, how do you always keep your cool?
Do I keep my cool?
I think you do a pretty good job at it.
Okay.
I think you do.
I hope so. The way I've set my class up, and hopefully it's a controlled chaos, hopefully it's not, just completely out of control. I don't think I've ever had a class reach that level, where the inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah.
But by design, my class is going to be chaotic sometimes because it's not a class where the teacher stands up and lectures for 45 minutes and the students sit there and dutifully take notes. Yeah. It's a class where we are working together on projects, and they are creative in nature. And so on the count of that, there are definitely times when, there's a lot of different people talking, trying to express their opinions on what we should do. And it can get pretty, chaotic is the word that is used. It really can. Mm-hmm. I try to not discourage that. Yeah. I have found, and this is my 12th year of teaching this class, I found oftentimes, the classes that are the most chaotic, rambunctious, they put out the best work.
Yeah.
It's the classes where you have to spur them on. Come on, let's come up with something. Give me some ideas. Somebody give me an idea. Those are the classes that a lot of times struggle. Mm-hmm. But those classes where everybody's firing ideas and everybody's kind of pushing for their own way.
Yeah.
a lot of times they put out the best videos, and I kind of keep that in mind. Yeah, these kids are driving me crazy right now. There's so much going on, but in times past, those have been the classes that have done the best work.
Yeah.
That helps me. I love teenagers, and some that would get on other teachers' nerves, I get a kick out of.
Yeah.
I love the students that that others are. They might like, how do you stand that kid? He drives me crazy. Well, I find him funny.
Yeah.
Maybe I was kind of like him whenever I was in high school. And there were teachers who, instead of sending me to the office or writing me up, they encouraged that, and to be who you are. And I think that those are my favorite kind of teachers. I try to be that way.
I think if I was ever to be a teacher, I'd do high school, just because teenagers, you can build a stronger relationship with them than you could with a little kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I love high school students. Y'all are young adults. You're still kids.
Yeah.
But you're young adults.
In that transitioning
That's
stage.
right. That's right. And your mind, your brain is developing, and you're fun. I mean, I love being around people in your stage of life. It's really a cool age group. Being a high school teacher is a good job.
Yeah. What is a quote you live your life by?
Man, that's a good question. A quote that I live my life by. I'm a Christian. I'm a believer in Jesus. I'm a follower of Christ. There's a lot of Bible verses I live my life by. I try to live my life by, but that's not the question. I know the question is a quote.
Well, you could quote the Bible.
Sure. Well, with that in mind, a couple of verses that come to mind that I live my life by. One would be Philippians 3:8. I consider everything worthless compared to the surpassing greatness of knowing Jesus Christ my Lord. My relationship with Jesus is the most important thing in my life, and it's the thing that gives me joy. It's the thing that gives me purpose. Yeah. It's what gives me hope. It's what gives me peace. Maybe it's what gives me the ability to keep calm whenever a class is kind of chaotic. So, in that verse, knowing Him, compared to how awesome it is to know Him, everything else is worthless. And so that helps me to make sure I'm keeping my relationship with Him the main thing. It makes me a better teacher for sure. Romans 8:28 is another verse that is very, very important to me, special to me. It says that we know that in all things God works together for the good, for those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. Yeah. That doesn't mean that everything's going to be good that happens to you. If you love God, everything's going to be good. Well, no. On the contrary, Jesus said in this world, He's talking to His disciples, He said, in this world, you will have trouble.
Yeah.
There's going to be problems. It's a messed up world. But what Romans 8:28 says is that even those bad things, God ultimately will work them together for your good. Yeah. And that helps me to handle the bad things in life whenever I realize, God's still in control. He still has promised that no matter, this is bad. What has happened to me is bad. There's been some bad things happen to me in my life. But ultimately, God is going to take the bad and turn it for my good. That means a lot to me. So those are a couple of Bible verses that I try to always keep in mind in the day-to-day. As far as a quote that I try to live my life by, and I don't know where I heard this. It may have been something I come up with myself. I don't know. But always go for the laugh. Yep. Always go for the laugh. It's 5 words that I try to live my life by. I think God made me funny, and I enjoy making people laugh. It hurts my heart that Mr. Watson was named the funniest teacher. I think that was a travesty. Obviously, I know you agree with me when I say that.
I'm hurting for you.
Yes, thank you, Laney. You're going to get a good grade in this class. But always go for the laugh, no matter what. Try to do something funny, because laughter is a gift from God. It really is. It's a gift. If you can make somebody laugh, you've done a favor for them. Yep. Who doesn't love laughing? That's why comedy movies are so popular, because we love to go to the movie theater and escape and laugh. It's good for you. It's good physiologically. It's good for you to laugh. It relieves stress. Laughing is good, and if you can make somebody laugh, you've done them a favor. And so one thing that I try to live my life by is always go for the laugh. Now, if you've heard any of my stories in class, you know that sometimes that has blown up in my face. I've tried to be funny, and it didn't work out so good, and I wound up getting in trouble.
Yeah.
A lot of times whenever I was in high school, and I was not a perfect student, you can talk to teachers who really didn't enjoy having me in class, but it wasn't because I was disrespectful and mean. It was just I was trying to entertain my friends, trying to go for the laugh, and not every teacher appreciated that, but always go for the laugh would probably be, if you're looking for just a secular quote that I try to live my life by, I always try to look, what can I say, what can I do that's going to bring some levity, that's going to bring some lightness, some joy to the situation. Always go for the laugh. I try to live my life by that quote.
Mine's peace, love, and unity.
I like it.
It's a Greta Van Fleet thing.
Oh, okay. Good. Greta Van Fleet. Who is she? I'm just kidding. You've already been through this. It's a band.
Yes.
Yes. Kind of like Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Okay.
Sort of.
Yeah. Okay. Next question.
Yes.
When you retire, what do you see yourself doing to stay busy?
That's a good question. Retirement is it's not going to be anytime soon for me. I'm 51. Probably, and I got a late start in teaching, I think 28, you teach 28 years and get your full retirement. If that's the case, I've got 16 more years of teaching. If that's the case, if I make it, that long. But retirement is something I'm not scared of. There's some people like, I could not retire. Well, Miss Timmerman, for example, she's still working because she wants to. She loves teaching. She doesn't want to retire. She wants to keep teaching. That's how much she loves it. I could see myself retiring, even though I love my job and I love teaching. One of my favorite things about my job teaching is summer vacation.
Yeah.
You don't have to get up and go to work every day. And I enjoy those, 2.5 months out of the year. I really do. And the way I look at it, retirement could kind of be like that. Every day is summer vacation. I could live like that. I could. But what do I see myself doing to stay busy during retirement? Because you got to do something. Man, I would like to travel. I would like to go places. I enjoy reading a great deal. I would think I would do a whole lot of reading. I've got a kind of a dream one day to be a writer. Believe it or not, I'd kind of like to write. Yeah. That would be a lot of fun to write in my retirement. Maybe even start a podcast in my retirement. I've got a history in talk radio, sports talk radio specifically, and so I could see myself maybe passing the time by doing a weekly podcast or something. So writing, podcasting, traveling, those things. The main thing though when I see retirement is, I've got 2 children, Gracie and Kobe. By the time I retire, I fully suspect that they will have families of their own, and so they say grandchildren are a whole lot of fun, so I'm sure spending time with grandchildren would be a major way that I would stay busy in my retirement for sure. So those are some things I can see myself doing during retirement.
Wow. Okay. Well, it was good having you on the podcast. That's our last question for you today.
Hey, this was fun. You're a good interviewer. You do a very good job.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and do me a favor. Let me know from the feedback. I know you get feedback from people. Yeah. Let me know if people thought I was funnier than Mr. Watson.
Yeah, and I won't include that in the.
Yeah, don't. Do not include that. But I just, I've got to beat this guy. All right. Yeah. I don't want him to know that I'm gunning for him. Yeah. But I've got to beat this guy.
I understand.
So let me know if this edition got more laughs than Watson's did.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Raider Nation podcast. Make sure to join us next time. And as always, Raider Pride is justified. Raider Pride forever.